Has got the better of notable speech, but Godolphin celebrating with the likes of Rebels Romance. Big win for Rafe Beckett and Ross Orion with Starless. Ryan Moore and Cornwall were on the board, but not with City of Troy. I applaud them for having a go with City of Troy. It was ultimately, Tom, a failed mission, but as I say, I think they should be praised for giving it a crack.
Absolutely. Obviously, City of Troy by Justify as well. He's had a fantastic season over this side, and again, the tilting at Wimbledon's giving it a go, but you can never crab them for that. Unfortunately, it just also shows what an incredibly hard task it is.
Yeah, it sure is. Timeform had a view on City of Troy. We can have a look at some of the numbers that Timeform have provided us when we reflect on the season for City of Troy. He's got a Timeform rating of 130p, which makes him the highest rated horse in Europe in 2024. Champion middle distance performer, of course, he won the Derby, the Eclipse, the Juddmonte International in imperious fashion. 10th best Juddmonte International winner this century. The joint 20th of Aidan O'Brien trained horses in terms of ratings, and of course Aidan has trained some of the all-time greats of the game, and I don't think there's, if you're in the top 20 of that list, you can probably be pretty proud of yourself. And the joint 18th of Aidan O'Brien's trained horses in terms of Group 1's won. When we reflect on the season, City of Troy obviously disappointing at the start in the Guineas, but the middle part of the season was exceptional. That performance at York particularly stands out for me.
It really was. I mean, as a flat fan watching you guys tell the story of City of Troy, I was really fascinated about how Coolmore presented him, because, we don't often get to see work filmed at Coolmore. We don't, and I just
Aidan measuring the horses.
Aidan measuring the horses.
Yeah.
There was a very different feel around it. It was quite showy, and very often Aidan isn't like that. With all the horses we've watched over so many decades and the wonderful stars, I found it all a little bit odd, because ultimately, yes, he was a very good horse, and you've seen that, 20th of all time, but it just didn't feel like the usual way that Aidan's stars play out. Would you agree? I don't know. It just felt slightly different.
But did you welcome it? Did you appreciate it? Or
I did, but then it slightly made me feel like he ended up being a bit overhyped, even though he clearly is a very good horse, and Aidan doesn't throw those terms around lightly. But the way it was presented just felt very different, and it's only an observation. He's won a Derby. He won a Juddmonte. He's an extraordinary horse. What they tried to do, and there's some amazing photographs.
Yeah.
Pat Healy's got an incredible photograph of him facing the kickback, and his eyes are shut, and his head's down. And it's very hard for horses to really want to push themselves through that, having missed the break. It was almost impossible, wasn't it?
And Aidan, as he always does, really took the blame himself.
Yeah.
He said that he didn't train him well enough out of the gates, and if they could do it again, they would train more into
Richard
him.
Royals just flagged up a really interesting point. He said his second furlong in America was the fastest furlong he's ever posted in any of his races throughout his career. He said, in that race, they just go so fast. Yeah, he did not know which way they were going.
He was sat about 20 lengths off the base.
And he was 20 lengths off the base, but quite extraordinary. I mean, he was going as fast as he could possibly go.
OK, well, for all you National Hunt Racing enthusiasts that are tuning in on Haldon Gold Cup Day, that is our flat racing chat done.